Black Foodies, how is everybody doing? Uncle Chris in the house. I've been invited to do a takeover, and I'm seeing a lot of people popping up here. Most of you I know, some of you I don't know. If you don't know who I am Chris, or Uncle Chris, from over at CaribbeanPod.com. Today we're going to do a classic, and you know we're talking about picnics and stuff like that, but I'm from a country, I'm from an island where our picnic is usually on a beach, and beach day usually meant mommy would wake up early, make a big pot of chicken pilau, and then we'd head to the beach. So for my contribution to this picnic, we're doing a classic Trinbagonian Pilau. You all ready? All right. I'm hoping you guys can hear me and see me. I have here 3.5 pounds of chicken, and I'll show you what it is. And you notice the lime in there. I'm just gonna take that lime out, and if you know, you know, because I know people just get hating because if we wash our meat, but in the Caribbean that's a normal thing. Mommy taught me how to do that. Wash my meat with lime, lemon, and water. No big deal, nobody getting sick. But anyhow, so we've got that chicken there. Most of the skin and the fat has been removed. It is chicken drumsticks. Well, the chicken leg with the back and the drums attached, and I cut it up into pieces, as you can see. It is a cheap cut of meat, but so much flavor. In my humble opinion, it is the best flavor you will ever get in any sort of meat when you start using stuff with bones. All right. First off, we're gonna go in with salt, and it may look like a lot of salt. It's only because later on we're adding rice to this. So it's a one-pot dish. So you're gonna see peas in there, you're gonna see carrots in there, you're gonna see rice in there. It's all kind of goodness. So it may look like a lot of salt, but it's only because later on we will be adding rice to the dish. If you have it, you have it. A little bit of Angostura bitters, a good stewed chicken, and the base here is a stewed chicken. And to bring it all together, we're gonna add coconut milk and rice. Everything's gonna come together nicely. Here I've got 1 tomato chopped up and 1 onion chopped up. That's going in here. It's all kind of niceness, I'm telling all you. We got some fresh ground black pepper. And as my mommy did before me and my grandma did before her and her grandmother, a little bit of Worcestershire inside there. Classic ingredient. Caribbean green seasoning, and that is just a blend or a puree of all the herbs along with seasoning peppers and garlic and everything else we like using in the Caribbean. That's gonna go in there. That there, pure niceness. And if you want a recipe for that, CaribbeanPod.com, I've got you guys covered. And that is something you would make and you would keep in the fridge, and you would use it in meat, fish, vegetables, anything you're marinating or you want to add that punch of flavor to. Speaking about flavor, I love me some ginger. And I don't bother with peeling ginger. When I get it from the store, I wash it really good and I air dry it before putting it into the fridge. I love using the skin and everything. Now remember, ginger can be a bit peppery, so be mindful of that. A nice dose of ginger in there. And I like grating it because it breaks it down in little tiny pieces, rather than when you're eating you get a big old chunk of ginger that's just offensive. It can be offensive. Something a little bit unique. These are, well, this is flaked pimento peppers, and all I did was I dehydrated pimento peppers. And pimento peppers is not about heat. It is all about, and we call it a seasoning pepper. It is all about flavor. We're gonna go in with that pimento pepper in there, and something a little bit different, some tomato ketchup. The acidity in that tomato ketchup will help us. It will help us achieve that lovely correction of flavors. So we're adding flavors, but we want to make sure the flavors work together. And all we would do now, man, and the kitchen smelling wicked. Oh gosh. Yeah, we just gotta mix that all up. And I know I might be going a bit fast, but you know, it's something I'm passionate about. Remember, you can always rewatch this here on Black Foodie. Traditionally, what mommy would do, or what I like doing, when I have the time, you would season this up, you would put some plastic wrap over it now, and you would stick it in the fridge, let that go overnight. And I'm telling you, that chicken is going to take on all that lovely flavors that we just added in there. And your pilau game will be on point, man. But today, I know there are times you come home from work and you don't have time to marinate. No problem, no problem at all. As we're about to do today, we're not gonna stress too much about marinating overnight and thing. However, we want to spark up the fire now. So I'm just gonna move the chicken over here. You need a nice big heavy pot, and that's what I got here. And the reason why I have to move the camera over here, you know what? One of the things I tell people, the key to enjoying cooking and not making cooking a chore, one, prepare all your ingredients in advance. And you notice I had it in advance. And two, clean as you go. So when you're ready, you're done eat, you're done cook, you're done eat. It's only the plate you eat and the fork and the knife, whatever you use, that's all needs to be cleaned up. So clean as you go. Little tip there from Uncle Chris. Like that. So we've got that pot, high heat. And I'm gonna get some olive oil. My counter space isn't the greatest here. And we're gonna go in with a tablespoon and a half of olive oil. And you know, not because I'm from the Caribbean, people will automatically think I like using coconut oil. I'm not the biggest fan of coconut oil. I do like a good olive oil, and it's something I grew up using, seeing my mom use it, my dad use it. Everyone in my family used olive oil. What I just went in there with is 2 tablespoons of golden brown sugar in the pot. Now, this is the critical part of the entire recipe. And the reason why I say it's the critical part of it is because this sugar is gonna melt, it's gonna go frothy, and then it's gonna go amber. At that point, when it goes amber, that is when the chicken is gonna dive in there. And if for some reason it goes black, push that aside, allow it to cool down, wash the pot, dry the pot, and start over. If it goes black, what happened is it will be bitter. It won't be a pilau at that point. Only you alone will know what that is, because you won't want to eat that. I'm just moving around the sugar. And the reason why I'm moving around the sugar is because I find that with my stove there are hot spots. Some areas more hot than others. So I like moving things around for even heat. You know, and pilau is one of those things, man. As a kid growing up on the islands, it just screams comfort, and when you really miss it is when you start living abroad. And you know, those cold winter nights and you're like, boy, you're really missing the islands. You know, you make a nice big pot of pilau. Now, and with the pilau, we usually serve it with a few things. Avocado, you need a nice sliced avocado. Tomato, onion, cucumber salad. If you have watercress, even better. A lot of people gravitate towards a coleslaw, but my personal favorite, tomato choker. We've got that melting down there, and as soon as it starts melting, I'll bring the camera closer for you guys to see what I'm talking about. Now, here's the thing. I'm seeing a lot of people chatting and asking questions and all kind of thing there. I'm trying to concentrate here. Now, the recipe in itself will take about 45 minutes or so to put together. So once we add the chicken and we get a color going and we have the base of it, then when we add the rice, we're gonna sit down and talk. So hold tight. I'm gonna answer all your questions in 2 and 2. We get a niceness with the sugar melting, kitchen smelling good from that seasoned chicken there. And now, you didn't see me put any Scotch bonnet pepper in the chicken when I was seasoning it. If spicy is your thing, put your Scotch bonnet pepper in there. Chop it up finely, and that chicken is going to absorb. And this is why I like salting at this point. When I salt at this point, I find the chicken absorbs the salt and most of the flavors. It will get smoky, by the way. So you want to turn your fan on over your stove. I can't do it because you guys won't be able to hear me, and there's a real ruction going on here. We don't want that. But season with your salt. I find that I get better results with that. And remember, near the end, you can always add more salt. So don't be too liberal at the start, because later on you can add. You can't really take off salt. Once that salt go in there and make its appearance, it's kind of hard. You know, it's one of them kind of house guests that just refuse to go home. That's what that salt is going to be like. So just be mindful of that. A couple tips here now. Now, if you're new to this sort of way of stewing or brown stewing, one, have whatever it is you're going to be using close at hand because it happens fast. 2, a dry spoon. And 3, if you're new to it, a spoon with a long handle so you can, you know, step back and put it in. If you're too close, that melted sugar could jump on you. Things could happen, I'm just saying. Notice the smoke I'm talking about. And you hear that little shh, that means the spoon had a little bit of water on it or something. And you can see what's happening here. So I'll show you guys. See what's happening here? And that is the amber sort of color. The frothiness is happening there. There we go. It's going a bit dark. This part is called chunky. So we're gonna add the chicken pieces. I'm telling you, it's smelling real wicked in here. And you notice the color we're getting, and that is the whole idea behind this sort of brown stew, is to develop color and flavor. So what we want to do, this chicken is going to spring quite a bit of water. Its own natural juices. So I'm going to turn my heat down to a medium high, and we just want to brown that chicken right in here now. Typically what I would do is toss the cover on this, the lid, and let that go for about 5 minutes. But in this case here, I'm trying to engage you guys, so we're going to keep it open, and we want to deglaze the bottom of the pot, all that sugar, that brown niceness on the bottom there. What is it? Darker the berry. Darker the berry, sweeter the juice. Alright, anyhow, Black Foodie, you see what's going on in the pot here. We'll let that go for a second, and we're going to turn our attention over here. And over here, you'll notice I have some rice. And this rice, put some more water in it. For some reason it dried up on me there. That is long grain, parboiled brown rice. And you notice how the water is cloudy? I had it in there. I washed it a couple times. But what you want to do is put it in water, and you would run your fingers through it like so. And then you notice how the water went cloudy? You would toss that water out and keep repeating that process until that water runs clear. Just gonna move that around a bit more. And I'm just gonna keep massaging that and massaging that. And the reason why we do that is because, you know, sometimes you eat rice and you get that gritty sort of texture in your teeth. That's gonna help prevent that. 2, when this rice was processed, when it took the shell off it and they polished it, there's a lot of gritty pieces in there. If you leave that in there and you, excuse me for 1 second, I just gotta stir the pot because we ain't trying to burn that chicken, you know. We work too hard to get that niceness in the pot here that we ain't trying to ruin it at this point. So keep stirring it every couple of minutes. The other thing that starch would do is, you know, sometimes you cook rice and you know what the word we use, especially down in the Southern Caribbean, we say sappy, which means it's like a risotto, also sticky. And no, nobody want that kind of rice. Well, today we're doing a wet pilau. By the way, I don't know if I finished saying what I was saying earlier there. 2 types of pilau, a wet pilau and a dry pilau. For the longest while, I used to be team dry pilau, which means you cook it in less liquid, you put the lid on there and you allow it to steam, and you get nice and shelly grains of rice. Today, I'm on switch over. I'm doing wet pilau today because, you know, at the end of the day is what the people in this house is gonna eat. I ain't trying to cook and allow the food to waste, right? So if they're gonna enjoy wet pilau, we're doing wet pilau. Somebody asking people who don't wash their rice here. The time a lot of people don't even know about washing their rice. Okush look team dry pilau. Yeah, nah. It's wet pilau and a little katung today. Alright, we over here. We're back over on this side here now. And you notice that color. Let me put on the lights here. Nah boy, that light kind of offensive still. It's real harsh. So, just getting some color on that. And we want to burn off any liquid and get back that sort of oil on the bottom of the pot that we started with. That oil there is an indicator that it is time to start adding the other ingredients here. Now the other ingredients we need besides that rice, a good pilau always has pigeon peas. Now I'm gonna switch over again. I am based in Canada, so my pigeon peas come in a can. So what I like doing is, you open it up, like so, and you would drain all that liquid out. Drain all that, because there's a lot of sodium in there, and we're not trying to, we already dealing with diabetes and high blood pressure and all of that. We don't need that extra sodium. So you would shake, and you would pour that out, or you would just dump it in a strainer like that, and you would run that water. Pigeon peas, for some of you who are not familiar with Caribbean cooking, may be difficult to find, but if I can find it in Canada, I'm sure you can find it anywhere. Go to your favorite West Indian store. Some of the Asian markets have it, and I think you can even find it on Amazon. It comes in a can, all right? It may be known as pigeon peas or gongo beans or Congo beans, something like that. Yeah, I ain't too sure. Notice that lovely color we have? We got the oil that we started off with. Everything is cooking down nicely. I'm just gonna crank up my heat back to high because I really want this to really caramelize on the bottom here. Now, if you're new to Caribbean cooking or brown stewing, you may see this and think, "Which Chris went in with 2 tablespoons of sugar." Nah, Dre, that's gonna be sweet. I assure you, you will not get any sweetness from this. It is not a sweet dish. It's a very savory, very comforting, very filling kind of dish. The other thing is, if you're a little bit scared about using the brown sugar method here, you can brown off with just olive oil. You brown off the chicken pieces, bam, 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 you put it in there, and you can go to your favorite Caribbean store and get browning in a bottle. Be very careful because it is very strong. So maybe start off with half of a tablespoon, you would pour it in, and that will give you that sort of rich color. Me personally, I don't, because I love the control I have in doing it this way. Plus, I find that the flavor is a lot better. And I hit that one more quick stir, and that pigeon peas that we washed, we're going in there with it. Give that a little stir. Let that sort of fry down a little bit too, as my mom would say. You hit your boy. Let the peas fry down now. Oh gosh. I'm gonna turn my heat back to medium, and we're gonna jump back over here. Keep an eye on here because we don't want this to burn. I just wanted to sort of coat the pigeon peas with some of that niceness that we created there. And we need carrot and celery. What I like doing with my carrot is to just chop the top and the bottom off. And like my mommy and my daddy and everybody else that I know, we don't peel carrots, we scrape carrots. So I'm paring knife and I'm just scraping it. And that just takes off a very thin layer off the carrot without wasting it too much. Our farmers already put a lot of time and effort into getting us a good product. We ain't trying to waste it, you know what I mean? And money pay for that, according to the old people. Boy, and money pay for that. So we have the carrot. Nice sharp knife down the center. Down the center. And then we're just gonna cube it up. Nice little cubes. And that goes into the pot along with the pigeon peas and everything else. And it's a great way to hide carrots, to get your kids to eat carrots. If they're really sometime-ish, as my mom would say, boy, that child sometime-ish when he eating, boy. It's a great way to hide it in there. So in goes that carrot. If you want to buy the stuff in the can, you can certainly do that. Just be mindful of the sodium content and how much of the vitamins and whatever you lose when you use canned stuff. Celery, you're going to take 2 stalks of celery. You're going to really wash it really good because you want to get rid of all that dirt. And you see the leaves here? Hang on to that leaves. I'm using that as well too. Just going to cut off the bottom part. I'm just going to run my knife down the center of it. Because we're not trying to get big mako piece of celery later on when we eat it. We like celery, but we don't like it that much. know what I mean? So celery is going in there too. And remember, celery is a natural sort of sodium, a sort of, you know, when you cook an ital and you use a bit of celery, there's no need for salt. So be mindful of that as well too. I'm chopping up the leaves and everything. And all of that is going to go into the pot. Give that another quick stir. And the real star. I have different layers of stardom on this program here today. The next star of this is coconut milk. Now don't be telling me all they're making pilau and you're not using coconut milk. Barbados are talking directly to all you. Stop doing that. Put some coconut milk in the pilau, alright? We're going on with 2 cups of coconut milk. And we will need 2 cups of water as well. So I'm just gonna, actually since we're doing wet pilau, we'll need 3 cups of water. But we're putting that on the side for a second. I want to bring up this to a boil, heat back up to high. Just want to make sure everything is nicely tucked in there. So let's see, a couple questions. Needs to get yeah boy, Rihanna coming out with a cookbook. Look thing, Uncle Chris getting competition from Riri boy. Riri, call me now. Call me, we go cook together. We'll make a little program. Don't worry. Don't worry. Rihanna versus Chris. Yeah, now Rihanna may control the microphone. But you see in the kitchen, I love we girl, eh? But she won't be able to keep up. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now, I assuming that I never see the woman cook or anything like that, eh? But, you know your boy confident. I'm confident like that. So, it's come up now to a boil. Let's see if we can switch things around here. There we go. So, you can see what's going on now. So, we've got that lovely color. We've got that bubble bloop bloop happening up in there, according to Indy. Indy's my youngest daughter. She real spicy. She likes she father. But anyhow, she like to say bloop bloop. So anyhow, it bloop blooping over there. So it's almost time for us to add the rice. And that is what I got here. Have I ever used quinoa in making pilau? Yeah, nah, I'm old school. I'm real old school when it comes to my pilau. And it has to have rice. I've never given it a try. So to be honest with you, no. To answer your question, no, I've never used any other grain besides rice. And I've never used white rice or basmati rice. I stick to long green parboiled brown rice. That is how I learned to cook. That is what I continue cooking kind of thing with. So let's switch back. So we switch back again here. And this is where we're going to add that washed rice to the pot. There's a bit of water in it, that's fine. Let's make sure it's nice and washed. And you want to move that around just to make sure the rice is completely submerged like a submarine underneath that coconut goodness down there. Now remember I said we'll need some water as well, eh? So heat still on high. If you want to use boiling water, you can certainly do that. I don't have the kettle at hand ready there. So we're just going to give that a little stir. And I know you all thinking, Chris, that is it for flavors? No, we're not done with flavors yet, I'm telling you. So we're bringing that up to a boil. And then I'm going to take you guys outside. I'm hoping we have clearance to go outside with this. Remember, Uncle Chris hijacked the people feed. Eh? Black Foodie, I love all you. I love all you. We need to add a couple more things in here just to pull it together and bring it together. Now remember I said I wanted 3 cups of water in there. What we're going to do, the final cup of water, the same bowl where we marinated the chicken in, going to move that around. We're going to pick up all that niceness there. Uncle Chris almost forget that, boy. I could imagine the comments later on. Oh God, Chris, what you do with the marinade, boy? Hey. So here, bring that up to a boil. But let's go outside. I want to grab a couple things. Gosh, I know they're watching my house and everything, boy. But we're going outside to the garden now. By the way, pimento peppers, they're still too young. But you see these bad boys here? That is the one I poured in there, dehydrated. We will need some fresh thyme. Love the flavors of fresh thyme. So some fresh thyme, and we're gonna need some of this parsley. We're gonna finish off with some of this parsley. And one more thing. Got these lovely peppers here. Let's pick one. Nah, that's too big, boy. That's gonna cause problems. Let us grab one of these young ones here. You know, see these here? One of these Scotch bonnet peppers. We'll grab one of that, and yo, let's go back inside. We're gonna wash the thyme and the parsley and the pepper. I'm gonna switch back again on you guys. I'm gonna take the fresh thyme, give it a good wash, and I don't use any sort of pesticides, herbicides, nothing like that in my garden. And we're gonna break off some of it, and we're gonna float it on top here. Speaking about float, that Scotch bonnet pepper, if you don't have Scotch bonnet, you have habanero, whatever, we're gonna float that in there as well. And the reason why we're floating it is because we're gonna get the flavor and not that raw heat out of that pepper. Give that another quick stir. So you notice we got that little bubbles going on there. Ooh, Uncle Chris making a mess. Ay, ay, ay. Poor fella have to clean up after. Who volunteering? A sharing food if all coming to help clean. So we need that to bubble. We need that to cook. And it's gonna, you know, the rice grains are gonna go nice and plump. And that is the indicator that it's all done. So we got the stove bubbling there. Let's sit down for a second. And we're gonna answer some questions. You guys just toss your questions at me now. I'll go back and clean up in a second, but trying to entertain all this, so I really cannot clean, entertain. Oh, I'm multitasking, boy. What kind of chicken pieces are you using? At the start there, I mentioned that I was using chicken legs with thighs attached, and I cut it up. I removed all of the fat and the skin, washed it. Yes, I washed my chicken. Granny taught me well. With lime juice and water, dried it. I ain't no backside in the kitchen. I know not to splatter and spread and all kind of thing like that. I grew up in the Caribbean. I've never known anybody to get salmonella poisoning or any kind of thing from washing their chicken. So I am mindful of the results of whatever you guys read on the internet and stuff like that. But I stick true to my tradition as well, too, while being smart. You know what I mean? Do I measure the rice? Yeah, I use 2 cups of rice, so measuring cup of rice, 2 cups of coconut milk, and 3 cups of water. You don't need to add the ketchup. That was one of the questions here. You don't want to use ketchup, by all means, don't use ketchup. Tomato paste, yeah, you can use maybe a teaspoon of tomato paste in there if you wanted. The seasoning to use to season the chicken, we use Caribbean green seasoning, salt, pepper, Worcestershire, a little bit of Angostura bitters, onion, onion, tomato, and a little bit of ketchup. And Caribbean green seasoning is pretty much a combination, it's sort of a combination that's pureed. I use olive oil as my base of thyme, parsley, shadow benny, all the different herbs we like using, along with garlic and seasoning peppers, and that is the base for a good green seasoning. It's because we're using long grain parboiled rice, that's going to take about 25-30 minutes to cook. So this is why I'm answering questions now. So if you have any questions as it relates to the chicken pelau that we're doing there, or any sort of Caribbean recipe you're struggling with or you would like to understand better, please hit me up. Am I frying plantain? Yo, I wish I had some plantain. Plantain is like dry guava season for plantain these days. I'm not getting any good plantain. See, the plantain that we're getting, it seems that they're harvesting it too young. Like the plantain is not fully developed. So when it gets here, it goes black, but it doesn't have that scent and sweetness and everything else that that we're hoping for. The tostones are falling apart. That maybe you're frying it on too much of a low temperature. Try a little bit of a higher heat. with the when you're frying the plantains before you smash it, kind of thing. Or two, they may not be full or fully mature plantains that you're using. You need them to be a bit more fat and more firm. Not firm, but slightly yellowish when you're using them. How to contact me? You can contact me at Caribbean. Just go to CaribbeanPod.com. There's a contact link at the very top. You can plug in your message there, and Iman will get it. Let's go back into the kitchen for a second and see what's going on with the pot, because after all, we're doing a demo here, and we ain't doing a Chris. We're doing a demo via Chris. You understand what I'm talking about? So we switch over. Look how your boy's switching and thing, now boy. Hey, mama, your boy learning how to use Instagram, girl. You're real proud. Next thing you know, I on the space station up there, you know. We'll crank up the heat a little bit now because we want that to fully cook all the way through. Now, the parsley that we harvested there, well, we picked in the garden. What we're gonna do is we're gonna chop that up, and I like a little bit of greenery. And to be honest with you, when I'm making pilau, one of the things, you know, we spoke earlier there about putting the carrot in there and hiding it and the kids eating the carrot, because sometimes you struggle to have kids eat vegetables and stuff like that. The other thing I like to sneak in there is spinach. You get baby spinach, and you put that baby spinach in this pilau. At this point is where you would put that baby spinach. Man, that thing just works. It just sucks up all that flavor that we have going on in there. And the kids have no choice but to eat it, because they taste it and they're like, oh gosh, this is not spinach. This is not that stuff mommy tried to get us to eat last week. No, Uncle Chris, hey, I'm telling you, boy. Did we talk about why I floated the pepper in here? I think I did, but to recap, the pepper is floating in there, and later on we'll fish it out, because here's the thing. You break that and you release the beast. I'm just saying, right? So be mindful of that. We ain't trying to release that beast there. We float it so we get the flavors and the oils from the outside of the pepper, and not that raw heat that is there. You know what I mean? That is present on the inside of that pepper. Now, if you're a pepperhead and you love your pepper, by all means, break that, release the beast, and it's pure Caribbean sunshine you're getting in that pot there. Pureness. Oh, look at that. Instagram allowing me to do Zoom too, boy. Oh gosh, I learned so much today. Black Foodie, I have to thank all yes. But let me go back. Let's go back and sit down. Chef Sommelier Victor Tenias. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name or spell your name incorrectly there. I used to be team dry pilau, and dry pilau means all the liquid is cooked out. You use maybe 2/3 of the liquid you would use if you're making a wet pilau. Put the lid on it, turn off the stove, put the lid on there, and let that sort of steam cook the rice a bit. No liquid whatsoever when you're done. A wet pilau, however, is like risotto on steroids. No disrespect to the Italian people and the risotto, but you see a wet pilau, when you get in that chicken, that coconut milk, that pigeon peas, that carrot, that herbs, the scotch bonnet, the little hint of scotch bonnet in there. Here, man. You know, earlier, if you guys saw the post I made on Caribbean Pot on Instagram here, you saw me say, arguably, pilau is the best one-pot rice dish. And I'm telling you, man, I've had rice dishes from all over the world. You know, last year we was over in Spain. The paella was a little bit disappointing, I have to say. But, I don't know. It must be a Caribbean thing. We kind of true to the roots and thing. But a good chicken pilau is always proper. You know what I mean? And, you know, there's biryani and there's pilaf and there is all those different things. But, man, oh man. A good chicken pilau is just good for spite. And this is something, and the reason why I'm sharing this today, Black Foodie here, we're doing the picnic. And I thought, you know what, while I'm not going picnicking, you know, COVID have me inside quite a bit here. What I am doing is reminiscing about being on the beach on the islands. You know, you're going up to Maracas or Mayaro or Chagaramas or Los Ciro or Manzanilla. Yeah, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, so it's only Trini beaches are calling right now, or Trinbagonian beaches. But mommy would wake up early, you know, 5 o'clock, the woman in the kitchen, the hand, all kind of chopping and noise and chunking and all kind of thing like that. And it's always a chicken pilau she would make for us because it's a classic one-pot dish. You go, you get to the beach, you go, you swim a bit, the trunk pops open, the cooler is there, big pot of pilau. You come back with your little plastic plate, and you know, you just dive in there. You have some sliced avocado, you have that coleslaw, you have my personal favorite for pilau, my side dish, pigeon point. Look, oh gosh, look at pigeon point now. Anyhow, but tomato choke, I love tomato choke. Everybody's into the coleslaw and stuff like that, but that's what I like, you know what I mean? My go-to pepper sauce brand. Now, I make my own pepper sauce because I don't know if you guys saw there, we went in the garden. That's all peppers I have in the back there. But Bertie's, man, I like Bertie's, you know. My friend over at, what's her name there? I can't remember, but she introduced me to Barron's. Barron's make a decent product. If you want some good pepper sauce, you can always hit. I got some allergies going on here as well too, so I do apologize if you see me do that. My nose gets itchy, but Bertie's is my go-to bottle pepper sauce. But I make my own. I think we're closing in on 15 recipes for different types of pepper sauces on CaribbeanPot.com. So if you guys want to make your own, which I highly recommend you do, because you don't put fillers, you don't put sodium, you know, any sort of salt, any sort of preservatives, anything you cannot pronounce. You know, when you read those bottles, it kind of scare you a bit, you know what I mean? Matux, I've never been a fan of Matux because I find it to be a bit tart. And you know, two things I don't like is tart and vinegar. Anything that's like vinegary, you know, so those things like Frank's, that everybody's rating up Frank's. Not for me, not for Uncle Chris, no. Kuchala, yeah, we did mango kuchala on the website as well as apple kuchala. So if you're looking for that recipe, you know, bounce over there. I got you guys sorted out, man. We're gonna wrap up this, but I want to show you guys what we got going on here. So let me switch back now. And that there, ladies and gentlemen, is 80%. It's still got some cooking to go there. 10 more minutes. That's all you need is 10 more minutes, and this chicken pilau will be done. Now remember, we are not breaking that pepper. We're gonna fish that out later on, and we're gonna chop up some parsley, and we're gonna toss it in there. I really appreciate the fact that you guys took your time to join me today. Black Foodie, so much love, you know. You guys showed me the love to invite me over and take over. I really like that as well too. Now remember, if you guys are looking for recipes, check out CaribbeanPot.com. And my cookbook is there, buy the cookbook. And you know, check out food, the people over at Black Foodie as well. You know, go out and support them as well too, because at the end of the day, if we don't support each other, who do we expect will support us? You know what I mean? And it's very interesting times that we're living in, and we have a fella just trying to get back in the office there. And I'm just saying, I ain't trying to be political and all, yeah, but I'm just saying. Anyhow, friends, I really appreciate you guys joining me here today, and just pure love, man. Irie, take it easy. Let me tell you, I find a little zoom now. Look at that. Oh gosh.